Imagining a woman as the provider is like expecting a man to pop out a baby. Both are about as likely as finding a unicorn at a Starbucks. Now, feminism may have done wonders for ladies, giving them the keys to independence and all that jazz. But here's the tea. It forgot to draw a line between being a boss and turning into a second-rate imitation of a dude. Suddenly, there's this weird vibe that women should be swapping stilettos for brogues and tossing aside traditional masculinity like last season's fashion. And don't even get me started on the rumor that feminism is side-eyeing masculinity. Some folks say it's not all rainbows and unicorns in the world of equal rights. There's a hint of feminist shade thrown at the very essence of manliness. It's like feminism took a detour into man-repeller territory.
Picture this: a 35-year-old man rolling in with a fat paycheck and a fancy car, snagging a 20-something bombshell. It's practically the modern version of a knight in shining armor. But if a woman wants to do the same, it's a whole different story. Feminism might have given women the power suits, but apparently, it didn't include a manual on how to compete with younger models. Now, scroll through social media, and you'll spot these videos of women realizing they should have started a family when they were still deciding between prom dates. Suddenly, the bad boys and corporate dreams aren't filling the void left by those ticking biological clocks. It's like feminism handed them a roadmap to career success, but forgot to mention the detour through Babytown. So, here they are, realizing that life isn't just about leaning in at the boardroom, it's also about leaning into those instincts. And men do prefer their arm candy to be a bit more fresh-faced. It's a harsh truth that hits harder than the fact that your favorite brunch place just ran out of avocado toast. Women hitting the wall. Perusing social media today reveals numerous videos where women, after hitting a certain age, express regret for not starting families early and complain about the dwindling attention from men. They observe men opting for younger women to initiate families, signaling a shift in priorities. Feminism, in its quest to encourage women to be self-sufficient, inadvertently steered some towards careers, potentially neglecting their biological imperative to build families. Over time, this pursuit of corporate dreams led many women to believe they could assume roles traditionally held by men, diverting their prime years into careers or relationships with stereotypical bad boys. However, as these women entered their 30s, the biological clock began ticking louder, and the reality of declining fertility became apparent. The change in mindset occurred as women realized that life encompasses more than wealth and extreme forms of feminism that may advocate living without men or eschewing family life. They began acknowledging their natural feminine tendencies and questioning the consequences of aligning their lives with extreme ideologies. Moreover, they faced the truth that men in their age bracket often prefer younger partners. A 35-year-old man with stability and resources might attract women in their 20s. This age dynamic impacts family planning. If a man in his 30s undergoes the customary process of getting to know a woman before marriage, she may not give birth until her late 30s, diminishing her chances of having children. This realization prompts women in their early 30s to consider older men, often divorced and with children. However, some find this prospect unappealing, having spent their 20s in transient relationships and now grappling with unexpected challenges in their 30s. The narrative shifts as women, accustomed to being pursued, find themselves in a position where men are more discerning in their choices. Only a fraction of men, who might have been emotionally scarred by previous experiences, truly understand the challenges faced by women in their 30s and become the preferred partners. For women fixated on having children, desperation can lead to risky behaviors. Some may engage in unprotected encounters, falsely claim to be on birth control, or resort to unconventional means to conceive. This societal shift challenges the conventional order of relationships, leaving some women perplexed by the evolving dynamics. The cry about the alleged gender pay gap, a topic of fervent discussion in recent years, prompts a call for concrete examples from those advocating for change. The challenge remains for women to substantiate their claims and engage in constructive dialogue rather than berating those who question their assertions. Modern feminism. The major gripe with this modern feminist journey isn't just that it flooded the job market, turning job hunting into a Hunger Games scenario. Nope, Now we're clocking in longer hours just to keep up in a housing market where $1 million is the opening bid for a starter home. And guess what? They'll still find a way to blame it on the guys. Isn't it amusing how they clamor for careers and then throw shade about, having to work? Personally, if the choice was between kicking back at home with my kids or dealing with a boss who wouldn't notice if I sprouted wings, I'd be sipping a mocktail at home. They don't realize how good they've got it in roles that sync up with their biology and emotions. Being the caring and nurturing forces behind a healthy society. It's a head-scratcher watching young women dive into the feminist pool, only to realize mid-career that they've been hoodwinked into something they weren't made for. Half of them power through on ego fuel until they're way past the wall, and the other half end up settling with the guys they dissed a decade ago, living decent lives but side-eyeing what could have been with the Chads and Tyrones. Check this out. Many of my mid-30s gal pals have vetoed the idea of kids altogether. In their tight-knit circles, the ones who did embrace motherhood are like social pariahs, because they're not hitting the clubs like it's a time machine back to their 20s. It's downright cringeworthy that some ladies are prowling cougar clubs for 25-year-old dudes who, let's be real, are mainly concerned with one thing. But who cares? Certainly not them. Feminism, in its quest for equality, unwittingly opened a door for men to go their own way. They gave guys two options: pick one, or be labeled as dudes who fancy other dudes. But we're calling their bluff and opting out because, let's face it, both options are a bit too gynocentric. Feminists might know this deep down, but they're too scared to spill the tea and risk losing their eager minions. Instead, they throw shade at guys who choose independence, labeling us as rebels because we won't be shackled. Women's regret. The real kicker here is that women are realizing they kinda regret this whole feminism deal. It took them on a detour from the universal laws of nature that ordained them as caregivers, nurturers, and the architects of families. There's a reason why women, not men, have the biological power to bring life into the world. But when women veer too far from this nature-driven path, it starts to mess with their mojo. They begin to sense that they're squandering their time doing what men should and avoiding what they should be doing. Men, they're cool being providers and protectors, finding purpose in those roles. They don't try to morph into women or snag the responsibilities that come with it. Feminism, for all its grand promises of liberation, missed the memo that true freedom is about women being comfy in their skin and embracing that feminine energy. Women's real power lies in being, well, female. And that's it for today on Sigma Traits. Make sure you hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and don't forget to ring that notification bell so you can be the first to know when my new video drops. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. See you all tomorrow.